Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Dearly senior citizen here, greetings boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. I woke up early, of course, 6 o'clock, out of bed later, because while I wasn't completely awake, I wasn't exactly asleep either, and so it was around 7:30-ish. Crawled out of bed, got myself all ready, headed out immediately for walkies, had a nice walk, headed on back here, and now I'm here. I'm trying to get, my chair is one of the chairs that they give out for people, so it's a free chair, which means it sucks. I've already gotten rid of one of them. Yay. We're having people in that are working on the garden area of the community that I live in, so thumbs up for that. God, I hope I stop wheeling around. So thumbs up for that. And it's very loud with the fan on over there, but it is warm and I overheat a lot. It is a window fan, which is those two fans, and then you shut the window down on the top of it. And so I need to get another one for the second window here, but I need to next paycheck. And what I plan on doing is having one blow in and one blowing out. So that'll ensure, number one, constant airflow, and number two, hopefully get it cool, because it'll be airflow, moving air, and bringing it in and blowing it out. So here's hoping. As for right now, well, I turned off the one behind me, but I have a box fan I put on the floor and those two fans in the window. So thumbs up for that. And again, like I said, I want to get another one. Oh boy. Past that, nothing much has happened. Oh boy, yesterday was terrible. When I started falling asleep around noon, that lasted all afternoon. It started to go down. It wasn't so terrible all that time. By the time I started recording, as tired as I felt, that was as bad as it got for the rest of the day. But it was still, I don't know why it hit me so hard. I mean, I still feel a little heavy now, and that's just come on semi-recently. At the same time, with the Losartan, which is the blood pressure tablet I'm taking, this sort of thing was kind of happening. So it could still be the blood pressure medication. Because about this time after taking it, because I was taking it at midnight, and that wasn't working because I was falling asleep like as soon as I got up. So yeah, I backed it up, and it was right noon that it was hitting me, but I've usually just pushed through it, hardly felt it. Yesterday, it really hit me like a freight train. And like I said, I can feel kind of a little bit heavy today. Thumbs up. Still though, one of the things that I still do when I go out walking is I go on the path that goes along this one stream. It's the one that I have recorded many, many times when I've gone out on walkies. But one of the things that I still do is, a couple years back I saw this thing that talked about how much exercise you should get per week, and it's X numbers of light exercise, or 3 hours of moderate exercise, or 5 hours. I think it was 5 hours of moderate exercise, or a shorter amount, like 2 or 3 of heavy exercise. And moderate exercise was like race walking. If you're walking at 3 miles an hour, which is like 2.99, well, it's like 2.99 kilometers per hour, 3 miles per hour basically. If you walk that fast, that's moderate exercise. If you can get X number of hours of that per week, you are getting moderate exercise. More, if you do it daily, you are getting more than enough exercise that you should get to live. And so that's one of the reasons I've been really pushing on my walking and doing what you should get in a week, I try to do in a day. So it must be closer to 2.5 or 3. But I've been trying to do that in a day. One of the things I've been pushing on is, if it's 3 miles per hour, then that means 3 miles per hour. I slow down for safety on hills downward. But when I have a slope upward, any sort of hill, I have pushed myself to, I keep the pace I was at. So if we're walking on a flat level and it suddenly goes up like this, I keep walking at 3 miles per hour up and then slow it down and then keep going at 3 miles per hour. So I'm back to being able to do that. For a time, by circumstances, that's the word I was looking for, it had fallen. I mean, especially when I had to use my walker because I was getting that dizzy every single day. Especially when I was up in Port Orchard. The stress of the entire situation, at least once a day, I was going to be dizzy enough where I needed to have my walker if I was walking, or be close to something I could grab if I wasn't with my walker. And the thing was, of course, there's never any time to tell when it's going to happen. It might be in the morning, it might be just before bed, but in which case I'd better have that walker around. And there were plenty of times when I was out walking through Port Orchard when suddenly down was not down was over this way. So I felt like I had to go this way because I was tilting the other direction, and it's like, oh, hang on here. And so there's been plenty of that. Less of it now, but I have almost fallen a couple times more than I've talked about. I have been on the floor once, and nearly many other times, and out of walking, it's been close periodically. So I'm not exactly not a fall risk. Part of, in fact, I'd say most of it, is medication related. But whether it's medication or diet or injury or disease doesn't matter. The result is what is the issue, and the result is down is not always this direction when I'm out walking. But I can't use my walker when I'm on the trail that goes by the stream. And I've had to renegotiate where down is a few times while walking on that path by the stream. Even before I became homeless, there were a few times I was out walking late at night where all of a sudden I was walking to the left hard for about 8 to 10 feet. Otherwise, I was going to be on the ground. So it's fun being a fall risk. And of course, I have fallen, well, I've even fallen within the last year outside. So, yay. As you get older, you will become a fall risk. It happens to everybody. It's not specific to any one person or any situation. We are bipeds, and that is inherently dangerous. And with our systems, with our backs, in fact, our hips and our legs and such are not well done. We're still in a transitory period. We're still transitions. So our systems ain't great. And so you're gonna fall. And as you get older, the risk of your falling down gets greater. So I gotta be more careful. Yay. And last night, went to make some rice. I don't know where my little plastic cup that I hold rice and stuff went. I tore everything apart. Now there may be stochastic blindness, just random blindness, because your eyes and your brain will, if you expect something to be here, but it's here, you may not see it. It's right in front of you, but you can't see it. So that may have happened, but I tore my room apart looking for it. Nowhere. So I had to walk to Walmart, and I bought one of these, and I didn't get nearly the water I like to have with the amount of rice that I had. They say that 1 cup of one cup of their rice in the container they had is 3/4 of a regular cup. So if that's 3 cups of theirs, then take 3/4 of a cup, 3 times, and that's like 2 1/4. So I put 2 1/4 cups of rice in there, filled it up with the normal amount of water that it would be for 3, and it came out a lot drier than I wanted it to be. Usually, and this was basmati rice, I have mentioned before, I like my rice to be a little bit moister, so it's a little more clumpier, and this is all completely free grains. Again, nothing wrong with that. They're still good and delicious and fine. There's just not as much fluid in them, so again, more free floaty and less clumping. And I knew this would happen. You gotta be careful, and you learn, because to get good at something, you gotta suck at it first. I wanted to put some dill in with the thing. You gotta be careful, otherwise it's gonna taste like a dill pickle. So it's gotta be a very light touch. My touch was not as light as it should have been. When I smelled it, did not smell like a dill pickle. But there was a stronger dill scent than I would have preferred. So it's not bad, but on my favoritist level by smelling, it's not pointed straight up, it's kind of off to the side. Still gonna eat it, still gonna enjoy it, still gonna be great. So it's just gonna be slightly less dill, and keep doing all the rest of the stuff that I've been doing. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to record the actual thing, but as tired as I was, and I had to hoof it to Walmart, buy the thing, hoof it back. I was already tired. That exhausted me, because as I've mentioned, a normal person on the whole spoons allotment, spoon theory being you're given X number of spoons during the day and you spend those spoons. And might be getting out of bed takes 2 spoons, take a shower, that's 3 spoons, make breakfast, that's 2 spoons, head out and do this, that's X number of spoons. You're spending spoons all day. If you are a quote-unquote normal person, you get 90 to 100 spoons to spend. And by the time you hit the end of the day, you may have a handful of spoons left. And someone who deals with issues, I'm lucky. On a good day, which are not every day. They're not rare, but they're not common. On a good day, I get about 70 spoons. So I've already got 30 less spoons than anybody else. And it takes a handful of spoons to go out on walkies. But I gotta go out on walkies, or I gotta stay healthy. I'm at that age where it's important. But 70 spoons on a good day. Much, much less on days that aren't. So those are great. After hoofing my way back, yeah, I had no energy. That's one of the reasons I've been able to actually fall asleep these days, is I have a lot of just thinking, but then I do fall asleep instead of just staring and being wide awake, which I would normally do. I don't know why I am so out of spoons, except maybe I'm thinking I got 70 when I only got 60 or 50. I got a feeling it's probably along those lines, when I'm trying to spend 70 and I only got 50. Joy. Past that, still been thinking about a lot of things. On my setting, was doing a lot of thinking again about the King in Crimson, because the inside, the outside, the Razor's Edge, this is all just one big setting, along with the cryptid stuff, and just about everything falls within this. And then, of course, on the outer edge of this, it's included within the cosmic horrors and the multiverse. But I was thinking more of the King in Crimson, because that is one of the things that is important for the setting. It is important for the world. This sort of thing happens every cycle. Of course, the world is different, people are different, situations are different, the Razor's Edge will be different. The inside situation will be different because so much time has passed. But another being of power will be there, and another roughly analogous situation will occur, which is we are out here on the outside, where you have people that will have their genome expressed, where they can use glamour so that they can travel. They can see the doors and the gates that lead to the Razor's Edge, and then from there to the inside, which is just another universe entirely. A small number of people have this pop up. Oh God, ADHD, please no. They get that genome to express. And so they can travel. But the King in Crimson, there is a roughly analogous version of something that occurs. Now, there are really two types of powerful creatures, and I keep forgetting the names and I swap them all the time, but it's like a being of power and a powerful being. One of them is like the King in Crimson. There is a cap on how far they can grow and learn and express themselves. There is an eventual threshold, a limit, a ceiling that they will hit. Now, the King in Crimson right now has no idea how far along the path they are. They have quite some way to go, but there is a limit. But beings like human beings, where we can have our brains change so that we can start using things as creatures like the like the cosmic horrors do, where they're able to use and do things with other levels and layers of reality, because everything has an effect. And if your mind can twist and do something up here, it's going to have an effect down here. And so there are beings like the Pale King. And the Pale King is a human being who has become a powerful being. Their brain has changed enough, they're able to now maneuver and alter energies and forces. They've gone from Gokura, prey, endless, to Gakire, small predator, and they are now Gakiri, predator. For whatever reason, to satisfy some desire in their head, they are acting for about the next 40,000 years as a benevolent ruler in a kingdom on the inside. It is the Pale Domain. They are the Pale King. They are very proper, prudish, very humorless. You know, they've got a huge stick up their ass. So you don't want to piss them off, and they're easy to piss off if you're a reverend. That's the kind of being that the Pale King is. But the point being, they're just stopped right now at Gakiri. If they just keep on going, they can become Gakiru, which is armored predator, and unfortunately Gakira, most powerful, a category. Reality has been twisted and warped by the presence of Dread Amaterasu, Mother of All, who wears the title of most powerful as title and crown. She is the Gakira, no one else. But they are doing this. The King in Crimson, ages back, only about 1,000 and some years back, knew that they needed the center of the inside, which is where they are, the center, because from the ocean of infinite possibility, this energy washes upward over the island that is where this Razor's Edge leads to. It washes up and over the island, raining down its energy until it gets to the center, where it goes through that doorway into the Razor's Edge and begins down converting, bursting through the other door into our universe, down converted, where it begins renewing and rejuvenating our universe. But because it is coming to a point concentrated on the center, there is so much coming down. There is infinite resources, infinite anything you would need in the center. And so the king knew that to have the kingdom that they wanted, they needed the center. And after becoming sentient and gathering an army to do what was needed, they went to kingdoms. If there was a governing body, they went to a king. If there was none, they just talked to the people. If they could give gifts to ungoverned people to move, they would do so. If they would use, with governors, they would use diplomacy and the same gifting and all that. If diplomacy did not work, then they would use threats. If threats did not work, they would use betrayal. If betrayal did not work, they would use assassination. If assassination did not work, the king would declare war. And they would fight. And the king, because if they could not take the center, nothing mattered, would fight side by side directly in the battle, killing as many as was necessary. And when it was necessary for them to slaughter the innocent, the king was there as they slaughtered the innocent, elbow deep in the killing. They needed the center. And when they took it, and they were able to hold it, they struck the foundations for the Red Palace, the Central District, and declared it Year Zero Common Era. And it was year 1114 when the kaiju rampaged through Apple Rock and ate 12,500 people. The kingdom, the Crimson Kingdom, has grown from just those armies that held the center to the Central District with Red Palace, where the King in Crimson both governs and half of the palace for his living quarters where he lives. It has grown from just the Central District to the east, the west, the north, and the southern boroughs, each of which holds about 4.5 to 5 million citizens, with the Central District holding about 1 million as well. They are building northeastern, southeastern, northeastern, western, southwestern boroughs as well, and they continue to expand their territories outward. They are not colonial, they are not imperialistic. One biggest thing about the king is when they came to sentience, discovered within themselves, and no matter how far back their memory, and when they go back far enough, all they have is impressions and feelings, and when they went back far enough, there's nothing, but all the way back to nothing, they have a deep empathy, sympathy, and love for the human race. And all this has been done for people. And even though it means nothing in the grand scheme of anything, deep time, nothing survives deep time. For the time that the king is alive, they can help. All this has been done for people, and they are pushing their limits and the limits of everyone around them to get people up and safe, which is one of the reasons it's so safe to live in the Crimson Kingdom. And Apple Rock is usually safe, except every 5 or 6 years the kaiju comes down. Usually it eats only about 5,000 or 6,000 people, and in fact in 1108 it was very disappointing for everyone, because when the kaiju came down, it didn't even eat 750 people. There's only like 600 and change. I mean, people, they usually make like t-shirts and stuff. In fact, for the one in 1114 is "I survived the night of terror, CE 1114." And it's got a picture of the kaiju, and it's an actual security photo of the kaiju with a mouthful of human remains about to shovel in another handful of screaming people. But 1108, that's called the Great Fridge Raid. Everyone's just disappointed. And in fact, it's like, you got people that are talking about, yeah, my mother was out of town during that time. I mean, if she'd been in town, yeah, it wouldn't have made it up to 750, but why couldn't it have eaten at least 750 people? I mean, and everybody is disappointed. So I've rambled long enough. Thank you so very much for listening. It is appreciated. If you are our patron, thumbs up and thank you. I'm trying to do as best I can with the spoons that I have, and it is appreciated. I've gone from a very hurting monkey to I got a place to live and I got food to eat, and I wouldn't have that much privilege without you. So thumbs up and thank you. For each and every person that leaves me a comment, it is appreciated so much. Any comment at all is appreciated, and I'm trying to do my best to do more of the things that, well, I know everybody else likes too. Oh, one of the things I wanted to talk about with Dave Bailey of the whole game books thing. With my neurodivergence, go to like Facebook where he's got a big Facebook thing. Look up Dave Bailey. Look up Demons and Dungeoneers. He has a Patreon. And I understand Patreons, I know why they work, but one of the reasons that mine is not paywalled for any content is that pisses me off so much that I can't do it to other people. Dave Bailey has stuff paywalled behind the Patreon, which is fine and good, and I urge you, go and join his Patreon. Go and buy his products. Go and get the Patreon and look at his products that he makes for the Patreon. But the way my brain works, the way my neurodivergence is, the moment that happens, it's like someone reaches into my head and flicks the off button on my interest. I wish Dave Bailey the best. His products are wonderful. Please join his Patreon. I personally no longer care about the products. I'm not going to look at or read any of the books that I have. I'm not going to buy any more of these products. So I urge you, go to Facebook, join the Patreon, and I'm serious. It's worth it, and he deserves it. Good products, and he deserves to be, what is the word? Praised? It's not praised, given that thing that makes you feel good so you do more. God, it's rough having oncoming dementia, and please don't let that joke be a foreshadowing. But I just don't care anymore. I'm fighting to care about Toby, I can't remember his name, products, who does 2D6 Dungeon. Because in one of the books that I bought, Dark Forces, Incursion, it says to go to this one website to get free maps. But as it turns out, the only way to get any sort of maps for it is to join the Patreon. It's not much, only $1.50. I'm never going to play that frickin' game. I am struggling to have any interest at all in his products because stuff is paywalled. And that just, not by choice. Which is why I'm fighting to turn that back on for the other products like 2D6 Dungeon. But reality, in the way my brain works, is fighting hard to turn that switch off. But go there, join, and enjoy his products. They're good. He is deserving of it. Thumbs up. And of course, I hope that you can get done the things that you would like to get done. If you can't, don't beat yourself up. It does not help. It's just beating yourself up for the sake of beating yourself up. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. And I did not mean to talk this long. Holy schmokerolies. If you like to see videos this long, please say, go lucky. in the comments to let me know that you watched this far, and to let the algorithm know. So thank you. You take care, and I'll talk to y'all later.